Sort of foreign domestic. We are trying out StreamYard, see how this goes. I have no idea where Alan is, but that's all right. We'll just keep on rolling with the punches. We do have a phenomenal group of people with us today. We'll start with TR Prepper. How you been, brother? Punches?
I'm doing good, man. Thanks for the invite. Appreciate it. I hadn't been here in a while. Usually I'm either going to work, whatever, don't matter. Usually I'm busy on Sundays, but I just happened to be free and caught the link, and thanks for the invite, man. I enjoyed chit-chatting with you guys, and look forward to it.
Awesome. Always good to have you, man. Kingpin, how you been, man?
Oh, man, it's another beautiful day, and I'm glad to be a part of it. Thanks for having me, man. I appreciate the invite.
Yeah, absolutely. Always good to have you. Daniel?
I had to find the unmute button. It's a new setup. Hey, thanks for having me on. Just got back in the house. Was outside shooting with my wife, and she's out there shooting her new gun because she caught me out there shooting it before, But hey, I'm going to stop babbling now.
All right, Jamie.
Hey guys, thanks for having me. As always, TR, good to see you. We ain't seen you in a while. Good to be on with Kingpin, Scotsman, and Daniel. And man, it is hot down here. TR, I tell you, it's hot down here. So, yeah.
Awesome. Good to have you.
Thanks.
So I guess we'll get kind of right into it. There's been a lot out in the media already. Obviously, you guys have seen the shootings and stuff going on. So I figured we would go straight into the Second Amendment and kind of talk about that a little bit and kind of talk about these shootings and what we think needs to kind of happen to keep the Second Amendment the way that we need it to be, and that's promote it the way it should be promoted, which is in the good light and not the light of the people that have been doing all these mass shootings, which happen to be Democrats. So yeah, that's always the funny one. Turns out to be, if there's anything funny about a mass shooting, unfortunately, but it is Democrats that do that. So, TR, your thoughts on the recent things that's been going on?
Well, it's kind of hard to sum up in a few paragraphs, but yes, they have been Democrats, or at least we can definitely say they're all socialist. And if there's one thing that history has taught us, is socialist, communist, fascist, however you want to put it, whatever category, it's all the same in my book. They want to disarm us in order to control us. And these young kids, and they're kids to me, 24, 20, 19, whatever, that's a kid. I mean, I could have a grandson technically that old, probably. They're kids. If they don't know no better, they haven't been taught history. It's a failure of our education system and a failure of, I hate to say it, but parenting. And I'm just going to leave it at that.
And that's exactly it. You're exactly right. Parenting has been the biggest failure, because it seems like nowadays, and we all seen this, I talked about this before, but you have to be treading on so lightly on water of, what you can and can't do to raise your child anymore.
Well, I will interject this, and I've said this in videos before. I'm not a parent. I've helped raise kids, but I'm not a parent. But the problem I see there's a big problem with single parents. There's so many kids that's raised in a broken home, which is a terrible, but the mistake I see with parents is, just from my point of view, compared to the way I was growing up, the parents are trying to be the kid's friend. You don't need to be the kid's friend. You need to be a parent. You need to be a mentor. You need to show them the right path. They can freaking hate you as a kid, But trust me, once they become an adult, they will love you and they will appreciate you. That's the way it was when I grew up. My dad beat the shit out of me when I did wrong. There wasn't a lot of really love shown. He wasn't trying to be my friend. He was trying to be my father. And in the end, I appreciated him being the father, not the friend. I can make friends at school. I can make friends at church. I can make friends otherwise. I didn't need him to be my friend. I needed him to be the adult, my mentor. And he done that. He done a great job. Well, I ain't saying I'm perfect, but
No, that's exactly it, man. That's exactly it. I was kind of raised the same way. I got shit beat out of me when I needed beat out, and unfortunately, you don't see that anymore. Every time you go to smack a kid in the butt, people freak out.
Now, when you guys got disciplined by your dad, was it like me? When you got your butt whipped with that belt or by that hand or whatever, that was enough to last you 4 to 6 months? Because TR, when you said that in that video, I was right there with you.
Yeah, mine was the bamboo cane because the hand didn't work after a while.
That gives you fear of, breaking the rules, which later in life gives you that fear of breaking the law. Punishment. That's what it instills, and it is punishment for correction.
There's
What's up, guys?
How you doing, Bill?
Not too bad. Working on the house, and I saw the link, and I'm like, damn, I'm not gonna make it home in time. So I figured I'd try and jump in here on the cell phone, see how it goes, just for a few minutes.
Cool. Good to see how
What's that, man?
How's the new house going?
It's going. Man, nobody ever told me buying a house was so much work, man. But it's fun, man. I'm enjoying it.
Awesome. How's that reload?
It's a mess right now because I've got my network stuff for the house in there as well. So right now that all that network stuff, there's like cat cable all over the place. And once we get that squared away and get it cleaned up, we'll get that press going, and I'll have to hit you up and learn some stuff.
Yeah, man. We'll figure it out.
Cool, man.
So we were talking about the recent shootings and kind of what's been going on. What's your thoughts?
It's crazy how, like, anytime, things are not going well for one side, these things seem to happen. I don't know, call me paranoid, whatever, but, these things always seem to pop up at opportune times. And then the whole thing with, what's his nuts, sex trafficker, suiciding himself, all these things are just so convenient, man, I don't know what to think about it.
All right, and just so everyone's aware, real quick, we do have a minor off in the chat, so watch your words.
You've got Tactical Suite. Do you have the regular channel set up, because we're getting a feedback on it?
No, I'm just I'm on my cell phone, so I just want to drop in and say hi. So I won't keep you. Not ideal situation, but good to see you guys. I'll jump in the side chat here.
Oh no, it went away.
No, it's all good. I gotta get rolling around the house doing stuff anyway. So.
Well, it is foreign and domesticated. Domestic.
All right, boys. We'll catch you later.
All right, take care, bro. All right. That was funny. I didn't see him pop in because it goes below everyone else in this studio thing. It's getting used to it.
Yeah, it's a little different format, no doubt.
it is what I found about StreamYard so far is the sound and the picture quality is superior to Hangouts on Air if you have a good enough Ethernet connection, internet connection. Like when I do mine, I generally have it plugged into the router and plugged in. It will suck a battery dry in no time flat, especially with a cell phone. And it's not, they're still working on the cell phone part of the thing, but on a regular computer or on a laptop, it does pretty good.
Yeah, it was funny that how that Epstein happened just when all this shooting is on the news, where that Epstein alleged suicide for the alleged criminal. That was sarcasm. I mean that news there is already gone out of the news, and it's probably still just hitting on the shootings, isn't it?
You know, and what's the really bad thing? I won't claim to know everything there is to know about that. I mean, I know enough of it. If you know a little bit, you know enough. But what I really am disappointed with the outcome of that is the victims really don't get a voice, and they don't really see justice. And I even seen on Fox News, I was watching Fox News, and they were talking about, well, they can still do civil suits and stuff. And I'm like, well, that's not really justice. I don't care if you line their pockets with money or not. If you was a child and was violated in the ways that these children were, a civil suit doesn't really do justice. So no matter what happens in the end of the day, there's not going to be justice. The names are not going to be brought out. I mean, that was so convenient that I don't give a damn if you're a conspiracy theorist or not. Come on. He was on suicide watch.
Exactly. How do you commit suicide when on suicide watch, they're required to visually be watching you 24/7? So if a guard is not actually standing there, they got you on camera.
And somebody should be watching the camera. And, that one there, you don't have to be a conspiracy theorist to see through that. And I've seen that on Facebook, so many posts about it. People that even I didn't think would fall into the conspiracy theorist realm, even they are like, what the fuck?
I mean, this is what our news should be concentrating on. Here it is, crimes against kids. I mean, prosecute the guilty, okay? But no, what's in the news? Guns. I mean, there has been more people died in the last, in Chicago in a year than the last 10 mass shootings combined. I mean, really, if they want to get concerned about it, I mean, in Chicago, some of the toughest gun laws in the nation, I mean, they don't work. And to get off my bandstand, I'm just going to say, and it all starts at home. Get the dad back into the home, get discipline started at home, and get punishment back in the system.
You know what? One thing they could do, and this is, I hadn't really thought this out or anything, but what you're saying, Daniel, mothers shouldn't be punished for having a husband at home or a man at home. They shouldn't be rewarded to be a single mom. They should be more rewarded for having a man at home. You know what? At the end of the day, I would rather give welfare to a family than I would a single mom. If it's possible, and I'm not forcing her to do that, but we have created a really bad situation where mothers are rewarded not to have a man in their life, not to have the father in the picture. And I think there's got to be some way to not punish them for having the father in the picture. You know?
I know. I mean, I've gone to the cities. I've worked with these kids, and I've seen the families. First of all, you got to have jobs around in the cities around where they live. That way, they can see some kind of future. Because these little gangbangers out there, and I said sitting there talking to one. I mean, a drug dealer that's about 14 years old. You mentioned a job, and it's like where they would rather be out there working in a legitimate job than out selling drugs and their bodies on a street corner where they don't see themselves living past 18. And the parents, yeah, don't punish the parents if they're still married and at home. Provide the welfare there until there's jobs there, or supply the job training. That way they can make their lives and their kids' lives better than what they had it. That's my grandmother and her father and stuff. That's what they looked for. That's what they lived for. That's why they didn't walk the Trail of Tears. And they went out, they integrated in with the European culture just to make their kids' lives better. And now, a couple generations, this like here I am. I mean, I classified as white, and I grew up white. Okay? I'm just a little bit, just like you, TR, got that little bit of Cherokee in them. I mean, it's what our grandparents and forefathers did who made us what we are today. Hi, Alan.
Well, good evening, gents. Good evening.
Hey, brother.
Hey, Alan, if you can't get here on time, bro, just whenever you show up, that's fine, man. Just
Well, it's just going to have to roll like that, unfortunately. I honestly did not even know that Scotsman was going to do the chat or not until I was told, oh, by the way, your phone just went ding. I'm like, huh?
yeah. What's up with this no facial hair thing? Clean shaven Sunday, huh?
Yeah. I honestly just got a wild hair up my ass, and it was time to just shave it off. It happens every now and then with me. And I kind of, it's sort of like donuts. I try it once every now and then just to realize that I hate doing it.
Yeah, I gave up trying it. This stays.
Hey, man, mine covers up a whole lot of ugly. My wife would freak if I shaved my beard off. I got this at Walmart, Scotsman.
Okay. Nice.
About $10. So you might want to try it next time you're at Wally World.
I'll check it out.
This is the Forest Blend. It smells like, what is that stuff? Help me, TR. You know what I'm talking about.
I'm not sure.
It smells like a pine tree.
Okay, a pine tree. Okay, yeah, pine sap. Yeah, I'm definitely familiar with that.
What is that for?
Turpentine. That's for our beard.
Oh,
I don't really have a beard, so.
Kind of getting back on what Dan was just talking about. Me and Jamie had a conversation yesterday about the kids and stuff too. And a lot of the problems is they just want to feed them drugs. They just want to say they have ADHD, have this, have that, and feed them drugs, drug them up and make them look stupid. And I think we gotta get away from that. Whenever they're acting out per se, then obviously there's a bigger problem there. It's not just automatically ADHD.
But I definitely think there's a problem. I talked about it on the last video I put out. I think there's a problem with the medications adults and children are on. Our medical institutions has decided that what 70% of the people need to be on some kind of medication. I call BS. I think it's BS. And there could be reasons that maybe they can benefit from it, but like anything else, I think it's a multifaceted. The foods we eat, the vaccinations. I mean, we can get into a lot of different things that have changed the way we're grown up and what we're susceptible to. I mean, it is. There's no one thing that is the problem. I think it's a combination of things. And what the hell was that?
Yeah, you can pop up people's comments, TR.
Okay.
Yeah, that's one thing that StreamYard is a advantage for. If there's something out in the side chat that comes up, we don't actually have to repeat it. We can actually just pull it up and have a conversation about it. And the med situation, at one point, I was on 9 different pharmaceuticals. I was taking a med to counteract a side effect of a med that I was taking to counteract another med. It was absurd, stupid. And I literally just said, fuck this, and got rid of all the damn meds.
Yeah.
Got rid of all of them. Currently, right now, I'm on 1, and that just started a couple of weeks ago.
Now, Scotsman, you can attest to this. How messed up or slow was I when we got together over there at Fuzz's place? Besides all that weight gain that you was nice enough to point out.
The first thing I saw when Daniel walked through the door was his belly.
I mean, I packed it on, but I was so. This is a med for my back nerves. But since then, Scotsman, I've only been taking. I was supposed to take it twice a day. I've got it down to every other day now, just before I go to bed. But this stuff here was guaranteed to put 7% weight gain. I mean, there went all that weight that I lost before, where I was able to get off my cholesterol medicine. Now, who was just talking about the TR? The 70% of people are on meds. I think that was just emotional type meds to help people even killed. That's not including the high cholesterol and high blood pressure type meds. That's just the psychotropic type of drugs. 70%.
If I'm not mistaken, it's somewhere around that. I could be wrong, but it's somewhere around that. Some type of Ritalin, Prozac, something in that realm, that degree. And I think that's a problem. I don't know what the answer is. I'm just saying I think it's a problem.
I mean, there's people out there that need to be on meds, but the massive amount that they're putting people on meds, that's the doctors getting a kickback from the drug companies. And it's people just not wanting to deal with their emotional day-to-day problems.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's that. And Jesse said it too out there in the side chat as well about it being about control. If when Daniel showed up, for example, Daniel was pretty messed up. I was surprised he made the drive. I was gonna pick him up and drive him out there instead, but he made the drive. But he was definitely, you can definitely see there was something going on.
It was like walking around. When I took it 2 days in a row, I slept for 2 days, 36 hours straight through. And when I was up, it was just a walking zombie. I wouldn't touch my guns because there was the safety factor was no, period.
Yeah, that's messed up. There was a lady at work the other day, and I seen her in the break room, and I don't know who she was talking to, her husband or whoever it was. It don't matter. But wow, she was out of her gourd. I mean, just her eyes. I mean, you could tell they were just glazed over. It's like she wasn't really in reality. And it's like, holy crap. I don't know what her doctors put her on, but she's in la la land, And but she was on some kind of antidepressant because she was talking to whoever she was talking to was talking about, yeah, this depression is really getting to me and this medication. And I was like, holy crap. You know what? Life fucking sucks. Life in general sucks. Okay. Just deal with it is what I'm thinking. I didn't say nothing to her. Don't get me wrong, but that's what I'm thinking. Okay. Maybe I'm unjust. Maybe maybe I shouldn't think that, but that's what I'm thinking. Because it's like, I've seen people die. I've watched people on their deathbed. Fuck, life sucks. You just got to pull yourself up and fucking drudge through that shit. I mean,
that's it. We had a guy quit last night, and he quit because of the job they put him on. He didn't want to do it. And that's why he quit. And I'm like, come on, dude, really? Like, seriously, you're gonna quit because of that? It's just like, you gotta man up. Just do the damn job, move on, get it over with, and they'll move you to something else.
Was this the 20-something that you always refer to as the kid?
Oh no, this is another one. This one was actually a good one too. He was actually worked on the load side and was actually pretty damn good. And then they moved him over to the banding wall, and he didn't like it too much, so he quit.
Well, there's an opening for you, probably for a better job. Oh, wait a minute, he got to the banding.
So, yeah, but it's just, he's 20 something too, and he's just, it's just the way the generation is. These young guys are coming in, and they don't have the work ethic. Just do the damn job, get it done. You get to go home, and the sad part is he's got a kid on the way. He's got a kid on the way, and now he has no job.
And there goes his medical.
Let's talk about that for a second, Scotsman. I mean, think about it, man. And you are a great example of somebody pulling themselves out of probably, I would say, somewhat of a comfortable position to try something so fucking different, so out of bounds. You decided to come to America and start over again. Holy crap. Do you realize how big a deal that is? We got people here that can't even go to a plant or a mill or whatever. And they're like, oh my God, this job's too hard. You uprooted yourself from an entire country, went to another country to say, you know what? I'm going to start all over again. That takes some balls, man. That takes some balls. I'll give you props for that.
And I did it when I was super young too.
and he's doing it the legal way.
And I got here with hardly anything. I got here with all my suitcase, all the stuff in my suitcase, and out of what I had left in savings after the plane ticket and stuff, it was only a couple $100. I just scrounged my way to make money and do what I had to do.
But you weren't coming to the U.S. with the expectation that the U.S. government was going to float your boat once you got here.
Oh no, never, absolutely not. That's one thing that pissed me off about my eldest brother, and I say I don't have an eldest brother because the guy's a freaking waste of space. He's a waste of air. He has been on what we call the dole since I can remember. He's had 2 jobs his entire life, and not one of them lasted 2 weeks. I'm sorry, man. I've been working since I was 12 years old. I can't do that. I've been out of work for 2 weeks that entire time since I've been working, and I was going nuts not working. And I took the first job that came up, and I said, screw it. I need a job. I got to take it. You do what you got to do. You just man up and do it. Like the job I got now is way out of my comfort zone. I'm a firearms guy. I know the ATF paperwork left, right, and center. I know everything there is to do when it comes to doing the background checks and all of that stuff. Storing firearms, the whole 9 yards, all of those regulations. I know those back to front. I'm in a factory. I'm on manual labor. I'm rolling 300-pound tanks every night. I'm doing what I got to do to make a living, because the work wasn't there for me at the time.
Well,
So-
I mean, in your defense, and I'll say this, we all have our little niches, what we're passionate about, but it's not necessarily what will pay the bills. You know,
Exactly.
if that was true, I would be a porn star. You know, I mean, come on.
With that stash, absolutely.
With so many openings there, comments I could make, they would all be wrong. So I'm just going to, in respect of Jamie and Preston Scott out there, I'm just going to keep my mouth shut on that one.
All I'll say to that is a man's got to know his limitations.
Excellent.
I think that's
there. Nah, we all got to do what we got to do. But getting back to what I was saying, I do give you props, Scottman. And I'm almost ashamed at this younger generation, because I see them too, that come in to like where I work at. They can't even last a shift. And they're like, well, this is too hard. And it's like, what I see them doing. I mean, I fix the machines when they're broke. I got to have technical knowledge and da, 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 da. All they're doing is putting parts in a fucking box, you know, and counting it. Okay, that box is full, put tape on it, whatever. And they're like, oh, this is just too much damn labor for me. And I'm like, are you freaking kidding me? Are you kidding me? This is too much work. What do you I mean, what they expect is to sit at home and collect a check.
Yep.
That's what they expect.
We got one girl that works there, and she's been there a while, and I don't know how, but she's been there a long time. And she literally, her job is just putting the valves in, and she complains all the time that it's so hard. Like, you're sticking a valve in a hole and screwing it. Like, what the? Seriously?
Now, Scotsman TR, you don't have to give me your pay numbers or whatever. But for that person that's just putting the parts in the box or putting the part on a, screwing in the thing for a valve, how much money are they making an hour?
They're making the same amount I make, and my job is a heck of a lot harder than hers.
Okay, say in a factory, that wage is somewhere between $16 to $18 in a factory. Now, with somebody that's got a technical skill, saying that knows that's a maintenance guy that need to go in there, an electrician, a plumber, or somebody that knows how to program the computers, they're making probably $26 to $36 an hour. And that is a vocational education. You got these fools going to college, getting a degree in underwater basket weaving, and then they want to become a professional college student because they can't go out there and get a job where they're making $50 an hour starting out.
Yeah, Thoughts of an Old Shoulder puts that out there and says it's just exactly that. That they don't want to start from the bottom; they want the pay right off the bat, and that's kind of how my oldest brother was. He wants the good paying job, and I'm like, dude, you have to start at the bottom to get the good paying job.
Well, I'm not good. I make good money. I make decent money. I'm happy with what I make. Don't get me wrong. For a guy with just a high school diploma, I did have some college, but I never got a associate's degree or nothing like that. I did have some technical college training, mainly all on the job training. Basically got me to where I'm at now. Yeah, I make decent money. I make enough money that I don't know. I don't know how to say this without sounding, because I don't make a lot of money, but I don't worry about paying my bills. Yeah, I don't make minimum wage, but I fucking busted my ass learning. I started out as an auto mechanic because I was a gearhead in high school, and I was hot rodding cars and putting camshafts and changing rear ends and stuff. And my dad didn't know shit about it, so I had to learn it on my own. As a teenager, I just figured it out. It's like, what do I need to do to make this car faster? Okay, well, I talk to my buddies. Okay, put this carburetor, this cam, da da da. It started from there, and even where I'm at in industry, I mean, I started out on the bottom. I started out in maintenance, but I still worked my way up, and I gained knowledge, and I gained a reputation. I mean, people that I've worked with, they'll vouch for me because I understand how to do my job. But you just don't walk into a plant or a mill or whatever y'all call it, wherever you're at, and say, hey, I want top dollar for this job. And you don't know nothing. You don't know anything. It took me a lifetime to get where I'm at. And yeah, I might make decent money, but it didn't come easy. There was sacrifice that was put into that,
And that's exactly it. Like, I do a lot of extra stuff too. I go in early and do other things, some of the preventative maintenance stuff that he's done a few times a week, and I don't get paid any extra. I just get the same rate for what I'm doing, no matter what I'm doing. So, this girl, and there's another one. Here's another one. This is even a better example. This is an older woman. She's probably in her 40s, early 50s, maybe. And her job is leak testing. She thinks she deserves a raise because her job is hard because she has a spray bottle in her hand. And I'm like, come down to the wall, bend up these tanks, roll these tanks all night long. Do you think your job's hard? You want more pay for spraying a fucking bottle?
Well, carpal tunnel is a real thing. I think it's absolutely hilarious. The fact is, nowadays, is you can't hardly get in the door of some decent jobs without some type of degree or whatever. Even if you've got years of experience doing that job. But that, as a guy that hires people, that's not who I would hire for that. I'm not going to hire the guy right out of college that's got the degree but has no idea how to actually do the job. And that's what's made me an asset in all the work that I've ever done, is not only remaining versatile, allowing myself to be taught everything I can possibly learn about any position in the place, so that if they need to pull me from here, they can throw me there, and keeping myself as versatile as possible.
Our parents' generation could afford to go to college and work full time and get the degree, so they didn't have to work in the manufacturing plant anymore, and they could go work in an office and still have a family and still have all the other white picket fence stuff. If you want to get all this straightened out, the first thing you have to do is get the government's hands out of the education. The day the government took over education is when the educational system in the United States started to fail, and is when these colleges started charging these overblown prices for these 14th century French poetry degrees.
You can go to one of these temp hiring companies, and they will put you in the school to learn how to operate CNC and get your CNC operator certification. And even while you'll be working in the whatever plant that's sponsoring you, and they start you out at $16 to $18 an hour while you're going to school. And once you complete it and you're there for 6 months or more after that, you're going to be making money up in the 20s. So, I mean, that's just a certificate, a qualification. Plumbers, where's the plumbers at today?
Yeah, there's a lot to be said. And actually, there is in my profession, like working on machinery in plants, there is a shortage of it. There is a vast shortage of qualified people to do the job that I do, because all these kids think they need a degree in business or a degree in this and they don't strive for, it's a little bit of the manufacturing. I think they need to have more apprenticeship programs. I think that they all could benefit from that. But anyway,
you better answer. That was Sonya.
no, there's another friend. Not that kind of friend.
Oh,
No, I'm a faithful man. But there's no apprenticeship programs. But anyway, the point is, there's most of the people in my profession that fix these machines, we're all in our 40s, 50s, and 60s. There are no young guys doing this or striving to do this, or at least very little, and it's some fault of the manufacturers for not incorporating an apprenticeship program. But at the same time, I think a lot of it is these kids don't want to work with their hands. They don't want to fix stuff or learn how things work. They're thinking, well, I'll just go to college and I'll get $100,000 job. Yeah, and it's I don't know what's going to happen in 20 years from now, because you're going to have manufacturing with nobody that knows how to fix shit.
Well, in the side of manufacturing that I work in, I have seen a major influx of young computer engineers. And so these guys are absolutely phenomenal at what they do, but they run CAD systems on computers, and that's virtually it. There's no hands-on with the actual material and so forth. So it's a great field, and they're making great money doing it. And they're the ones that are drawing up all the blueprints and everything else. But like you're saying, TR, the machines that are turning the product out, there's like 3 guys in my entire plant that know how to work on this machine or that machine. They're few and far between, and there is no apprenticeship program.
That's one of the downfalls to the technological advancement we've had. Going from the Industrial Revolution to the computer revolution are 2 vastly different things. The Industrial Revolution made life easier and made life more available to do other things and have leisure. The technical revolution, the computer revolution, has made life boring and has made life dull and really, really too easy, where you can sit back and order a pizza online. You don't even have to pick up your phone. You can order anything you possibly want from Amazon and have it delivered to your front door the next day. So that's the problem. In the Industrial Revolution, people got easier jobs and then found other things to occupy their lives with and to advance their lives with. The Computer Revolution, people made life easier, but it's not really advancing our lives.
Yeah, between computers and cell phones, people are on them all day long. It's all they ever do, and I see it all the time at work too. And it's I've told Daniel before, that one girl was telling you that she just puts valves in all night long. She sits on her phone all night long too and gets away with it. She'll have her phone sitting right there and she'll just keep playing on it all night long. Well, her job's so hard.
The way I look at it is, with the cell phone and with the internet, we're better than we've ever been in all of the history of the world of communicating with each other. Because I can call somebody in Japan and in seconds be talking to somebody in Japan from the East Coast of Maryland, and no problem whatsoever. But that has also made us worse at communicating with each other. Because like you said, Scotsman, there's a million people in the street and they all got their heads down. They're communicating, but they're not communicating with what matters, the people that they can see and touch and interact with personally.
Yeah, and that's a big thing too. I see it a lot in the workplace here as well, where people don't know how to talk to people anymore. So you got these new managers coming in, these new supervisors and stuff, and they don't know how to supervise properly because they don't know how to talk to people. I had to pull one of my supervisors to the side one night and was like, "Hey, man, that's not how you talk to someone. As a supervisor, this is what you should have said. This is what you should have done." You know, and gave him some of my experience over the years, and was like, "Hey, this is what you got to do, man. You're young. You're trying to get somewhere. I get it, but you got to do it this way."
Well,
Praise
walk into a sit down restaurant nearly anywhere these days, and how many families are all sitting around the table, but nobody says a word to each other the entire time they're sitting there.
Well, I just want to bring up getting back to skills. Having a skilled trade. The kind of not every day. Let me see if this shows up. I don't know. Okay, you talk about computers. Well, there you go. That's a computer rack of a machine. One of the machines that I have to figure out when it don't work. Yeah, it's computerized, but somebody has to know how to fix it when it don't work. We're talking racks of cards. All these cards. The last machine I fixed, it took me 2 days, probably 10 hours, and I found a chip, a little EEPROM chip, and one of those cards was bad. It took me 2 days to find it, but somebody needs to be able to figure that out. And you're not going to stumble across it. You have to know what the fuck you're doing and have a process of elimination to figure that out. And we don't have kids growing up being taught how to do this. And that's why I say 20 years from now, I don't know what the fuck's going to happen with industry, because these kids ain't going to have a fucking clue.
Well, in the vocational school that my daughter just graduated from, she was in electrical engineering, and that's what they're gearing them to. One of the fields that they geared them towards is to go into problems like that. There was manufacturing plants. My daughter still had 6 months of high school to get done. Offered a job. Okay, well, she's also got 2 years of free education, right off. So she's going to pursue that route. But it's there. If you or someone coming out of high school with electrical engineering kind of background where you can be trained in the shop, and then the company, if they like you, send you to more advanced schools where you can figure out that problem in an hour or two, where it takes old guys like TR and me, well, it would take me a month. I'd never figure it out really. But TR 2 days, but they would pay you a good salary just because of the money they save, because TR can go out there and mop the floor instead of trying to figure out the machine, and production can roll on.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that machine's down. I mean, it, even in plastics, I mean, you're charging over $100 an hour. The way you look at it, that machine is, we'll just throw a number out there. I mean, it depends. It could be different, but just say $150 an hour. You're charging the customer that buys this product, Bosch and Lomb or whoever, $150 an hour for this machine time. We're going to make this part for you. We're going to make this little cap or whatever it is, louder body, whatever. And so when it's down 10 hours or 24 hours or 48 hours, that's $150 an hour up that you're losing. So your technical team is very important to keep you from not losing money. I don't make the company I work for a dime, but I keep them from losing money.
And that's making money.
Yeah, and the same thing on that same thing. When you're in that kind of position, like where I'm at now, I try to learn everything I can about those machines. So when that machine goes down itself, if I can fix it and don't have to call maintenance, it's a heck of a lot faster to get that line back up and running.
Let me explain something. I think y'all beating around the bush. Let me see if I can put it to you. Your job is to make your employer money. If you can't make them money, your job is to save them as much money as you can. Therefore, you are in turn making them money. Like say, if TR is working on a machine and it's been down 2 days, All right, sounds like that last machine you're talking about, it broke about lunchtime day before yesterday. And by lunchtime or 2 o'clock the next day, you had it up and running. Say it gets quitting time that day and TR still ain't got that machine running. They have to call the people who made that machine to come fix it. Now, they may be in Germany, they may be in Japan, China, wherever. They got to send somebody over it. Now, what's that going to cost you? So,
I can tell you exactly. The machine I was working on is made in Sweden, but it's actually a German machinery. And the minimum it costs to have us call them out to work on it is $10,000. It doesn't matter if they walk in a door, flip a switch, and walk out. It's $10,000. Period. Minimum.
well,
So if I can fix it, in an hour or 10 hours, I still saved them, $10,000, minus the production loss. But it's valuable to have somebody like me or you or whoever that can figure shit out, because we just saved the company $10,000,
Yeah. I worked on copiers for a long time. I worked on copiers probably 32, 33 years. And a lot of that is kind of like what Daniel was talking about, robotics, feeding paper, making stuff do this, that, and the other, as opposed to what the computer is telling it to do, system checks, if this, then that kind of thing, in and out, input, output stuff. You got to understand all that. You got to learn how to troubleshoot your troubleshooting procedures. But what Scotsman is telling you is he's trying to learn not only his job, he's trying to learn how to keep his machine running to keep him in a job. But what I'm telling you is that makes him even more valuable. The more you know and the more you're able to help your employer, the more money you're worth. So I'll give you an example. My son, let's take my son for example, graduated high school. Son, you getting ready to get a job? Are you going to go to college? Are you going to go to trade school or what? He said, Dad, I'm going to take a year off. I'm like, oh, crap. So he sat around playing video games for a year. So the year's up. I'm like, Jay, the year's up. What are you going to do? You going to college? You going to trade school? You going to get a job? What you thinking? I don't know, Dad. And all this went on. So finally, it's 5 or 6 years later. He's still living at the house, working a part-time job, playing video games, playing in a rock band. So finally, I said, man, you got to get a grip, dude. You got to get on with your life. So he gets a full-time job, does this, does that. Now he's working. He got a job through a temporary agency, like y'all were talking about, working selling parts for a tractor company. Well, he got to be the parts manager there, and they never gave him any raise from when they hired him from the temporary agency. So he left and went to another competitor and sold tractor parts for them. Well, they didn't give him a raise. So he went to learn to be a manager for the Wendy's, the restaurant chain. And he's about 4 weeks into that. And the guy at that tractor place called him up, said, man, we need you to come back to work. He said, hey, I'm doing this now, man. You wouldn't pay me. So, Jay didn't go back. So he called him again about a week later, and he offers him as much money as he was asking for, plus 20% commission on everything he sells. So there's light at the end of the tunnel if you're willing to do like TR and Scotsman and like I had to do when I first got into fixing copiers. You got to learn to fall asleep reading a service manual. And there's no more boring reading in the world than a service manual. But I'm proud of my son because he got off his duff. He realized he had to work for a living. And I raised him to be a conservative thinker and with kind of a liberal heart. But that boy now is a conservative constitutionalist. That's his political affiliation. The Republicans are too left for him. So I'm proud of the boy. He's come a long way. He's doing some good stuff now, and I'm proud of him. But I had to stay on him to get him over that hump. But it's worth it when you see your kids are in demand by their employers and are making good money. Next, I'm gonna borrow some money from him, and
I was gonna say that's the reverse side of it. Now you get to borrow for him, and he's got to take care of you.
Well, that's what the free market system is all about, and that's why the minimum wage shouldn't exist. Because I, as an owner, should be able to say, okay, Scotsman, I'm going to pay you $5 an hour to swing this hammer, and you'd be like, no, you're going to pay me $6 an hour, and then we should be able to openly debate between ourselves between the value you think your work has and the value I think your work has, instead of having some arbitrary government agency telling me I have to pay you this amount of money.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you get into whether you're flipping burgers or packing a box, if everybody's going to get paid $15 an hour, why strive to do any better?
Well,
I'll just flip this burger for $15 an hour. There's no incentive to do better.
well, and it also could the people like Scotsman that have the incentive and say, okay, well, you guys can all sit here and flip burgers. I'm going to go run the register. And so he learns everything that he can. With a minimum wage being there, he's got no bargaining power because I've already had a minimum wage set. So all my other budget is completely rock set based on the overhead that I have to pay and the employees that I have to pay, which includes their insurance, their health care, any other kind of stuff that I have to pay for. And when Scotsman says, I want $1 raise, you ain't getting one, buddy. Here's 25 cents. Thank your government.
Well, when I was doing my retirement gig, I worked with a lot of, through automotive garages and stuff like that. I got to meet a lot of the mechanics, the service writers. There was one service writer that had worked at this, a young guy. When I say young, I mean 27. And out of high school, he started working as a service writer at this Ford garage. And the owner was always just wanting to do that 5-cent, 20-cent raise whenever he jumped on the desk. And finally, he got an offer from another dealership where they were going to pay him right off the bat 20. He was currently making $40,000 a year. They said, we're going to start you out at $60,000 a year, and here above that, here's all the benefits. He went to, he just turned around and gave us 2 weeks notice. And the owner of that company was going out there interviewing people to try to get in, and within 2 weeks, I mean, she wanted to hire me, but she only wanted to pay me $11 an hour. And I said, nope, I'm not taking a pay cut to work for you. I'm just going to keep on drinking my coffee and delivering car parts. Well, she turned around and gave him a $20,000 raise to keep him, plus more vacation time. I mean, that was just out there working, keeping your nose to the grindstone, treating your customers right, and being pleasant.
Yeah, I mean, my previous job, well, not my previous one, but the one prior to that, I worked for that company for a long time. And when I was in Georgia, they were paying me X amount of money. And I said, hey, I need a raise because I'm barely making my bills and I have X amount left over every month and I can't live this way. So I work 80 plus hours a week and you need to pay me what I'm worth. And the GM would go back and forth, and I'm like, that's fine. You don't want to pay what I'm worth? I'll go somewhere else. So it's just to show him that I'd be willing to start over and work my way back to where I needed to be. I took a $10 an hour job because I knew that $10 an hour job, that company would be more adept to seeing that I'm willing to work my way up versus this guy that said, hey, you know what? I don't want to pay him what he's worth. What happened was 2 weeks later, after being at this other job, corporate called and said, hey, we never wanted you to leave. Here's a $20,000 raise. And took me back and put me in a different position. So, it's all about how you act, how you promote yourself. And that's another thing too. You got to promote yourself, especially when you're trying to get that, or you're trying to earn a raise, or you're trying to move up in the company. You have to be able to promote yourself and understand what your job is and what the future job you want is as well.
But how many years did you work in that industry?
I was at that company for almost 8 years.
There, you got to put your time in. I mean, just like the young kids, they expect to make that big money walking in the door right on.
And when I started that place, I was making $11 an hour. When I actually started $9 an hour when I started, because I was in Oregon when I started with that company. I made $9 an hour, and it took me a year to get to $10.50, I think it was, an hour. And then when I transferred to another store is when I started really moving up and making better money in different positions. And then they sent me to another store to help out. And then that store offered me another job, another position in the company. I took that, and that's where I got to. And then after being there for 2 years, the guy didn't want to pay me what I was worth. So,
Well, one thing I want to bring up, since we're talking about salaries and stuff like that, if wherever you work at, you can get to a comfortable position, we'll just say that you're not really making the money that you think you deserve, but you're making decent money. If you have a good work ethic, you can't really rely on your bosses to appreciate it. But if you have a really good work ethic and your coworkers appreciate you for the job you do and how you help them out, I mean, because with the job I do, I mean, I help them, they help me. It's a give and take kind of thing. I think at the end of the day, I'm just happy that I'm appreciated with the people I work with. And as long as I finally get to a position that I'm okay with the salary I make, I mean, to be honest, I'd like to make $1 million a day, but that ain't going to happen. But, being able to coexist with your coworkers and they appreciate you for what you do, I think it has a lot, that self-satisfaction has a lot to be said as well.
yeah, absolutely. And the more you can be a team player and help other people learn and other people grow, that's where you'll see different opportunities open up for you as well. That was one of the things that got me where I was with that company, was helping others, teaching others, coaching others in the positions that I was previously in so that I could move up. That's what you got to do. You got to coach, train, learn. And you may not be in a position to where you say you think you can do that. You might not be in that supervisory position, but you can still coach someone. You can still train someone. You don't have to have that title.
Yeah, learning as much as you possibly can, even if it is not your job. If you can learn about it, gain experience with it, anything that makes you more versatile. The more versatile you are, the more of an asset you are. When you become an asset for a company, they're not only are you more secure in having a job by far, but you're also more worth to them than maybe the position that you're normally in. And so they'll take you and put you in other places when they need it. Even if you just don't take a solid position doing that all the time, they know that, and then they start to learn that they can rely on you. These are all things that equate to a good work ethic. And I know TR's got one. I have no idea why he has such a hard time saying it. But it presents not only to your boss, but your boss's bosses, the CEO of the company, going, hey, that person really came through when we were in this tight spot, we were having this issue and this person helped solve it completely out of nowhere. They're like, well, what does that person do? Oh, they're just a peon over in this other section. But they really came through and helped us out in doing that. It gets your name out there, and that's part of the self-promotion factor, I think.
That, like I was telling you about the automotive parts thing. Well, one of my really best friends from grade school through high school and everything, he's in machine trades, and he went from running a machine to now he's the maintenance man over the entire plant. That's from plumbing to getting the machines running. And another company wanted to hire him and was basically going to double his pay. And he also put in his 2-week notice. But the funny thing happened, and the company turned around and said, yes, we'll meet the pay and everything like that they're going to give you. Well, he also knows the company's bottom line. You're talking a company that has between 30 to 40 employees that work in the company. And he knows the company's bottom line, how much the owner makes. Well, there was a plant manager who got a bonus every year, and he was getting a bonus of 5 figures. But he wasn't giving the rest of the employees raises. Well, he not only got that, matched the salary, but he also got all the employees in there a $2 an hour raise negotiated and staying with the company. So that's the extreme part of work ethic, but also treating your coworkers right. Did you guys freeze up?
No, it just we in manufacturing, I think we get overlooked a little bit too much too often. And no matter what field you're in, there are people that get overlooked, and there's not enough. I work for a big corporation, and there's too much emphasis on filling the front offices with people with degrees that come weekend, you look at the parking lot and there's 15 cars. And guess what? The same amount of product goes out on Monday that it does Sunday. But on Monday, there's 100 cars in the parking lot. And it's like, y'all are not really participating. You got made up jobs doing bullshit, trying to justify your jobs. These people that's here every day, they are the people that's putting the product out the door. These made up jobs that y'all have and corporate math and all the BS. It's a lot of BS. That's all I can say.
Yeah, it's crazy. We have a meeting every month and go over numbers and stuff like that. And you sit there and you listen to this stuff and you go, well, okay, well, we're making all of this. We got this much profit. We got all of this, but I'm still making the same amount of money. I'm still busting my ass 10 times as hard. But why are you telling me all this?
Well, it's because those people in that plant manager kind of roles, their annual and quarterly bonuses, they're the same people that's saying you're going to get X amount on a raise in a salary in your hourly pay. And that actually, when it comes down to it, that cuts into their bonus. So,
oh yeah, big time. That's why, the company I work for, they do profit share and stuff. And so anytime we're behind with an order or something like that, oh wait, you're working 9 hours this week. Oh no, you're working 10 hours. Oh, you're working 6 days this week. Whatever they got to do to get it done so they don't miss their bonus.
but that just shows you the age group of today's new employees. TR had something earlier to say about that before the chat.
What part was you talking about?
Well, about age group, the 30-something generation.
Well, I'm not sure if I follow you, but
Well, we were talking about guns at that point. It's before we was talking about it. Yeah.
okay. Well, I mean, I'm still lost.
Okay, the Walmart dude.
The guy trying to show his Second Amendment right by buying a gun the week before or that week and going in there just to prove a point. He was trying to make a viral video to become famous. He wasn't really a Second Amendment guy. I mean, I'm a Second Amendment guy. Daniel, Scotsman, Allen, we're Second Amendment guys. I'm not going to go into Walmart after a mass shooting and just carry this in. It's SKS, actually. But anyway, and strap it on my back and think, well, I'm going to test their Second Amendment position. No, you're a freaking idiot. I mean, don't go into a place trying to scare the shit out of everybody, because guess what? You may run into somebody like me. I don't carry a SKS or AK or AR in a Walmart, but I do carry this. And if I saw you strapped with an AR-15 on your back in South Carolina, you may get the business end of this.
And that's the thing. Like, it wasn't just the AR-15. You know, he had the pistol, but he had the chest rig on and everything too. He fully armed himself up. Like, why? That's not promoting the Second Amendment.
No, not at all.
You want to promote the Second Amendment? Do what you do every day. Carry concealed. If you want to open carry, that's fine. I don't get no problem with open carry. But don't be a dumbass about it.
Yeah, don't be a dickhead. Because that guy was a dickhead, and he's facing jail time. And to be honest, and I hate to say this, but at the same time, I'm not really too apologetic. He should face jail time. You just had 2 mass shootings, and you go into a Walmart inciting violence. In my personal opinion, he was inciting a terrorist type violence situation.
And that's the charges that are being filed against him. And he faces, I think, 5 years and $10,000 plus fine. And he'll lose all his rights.
Yeah. And he's an idiot. I'm sorry. He's an idiot. You know,
even his wife, his wife said he is an absolute dumbass.
Yeah.
He should not have done it.
Yeah. He asked the wife if she would film him while he did it. She said, "You're an idiot." He asked his sister to film him doing it. She said, "You're a dumbass." I'm in agree with the ladies.
Yeah.
I'm agree with TR. You're going to get the business end of a concealed carrier.
And that's what happened. You know, the firefighter was a concealed carrier and confronted him. And the guy had no intention of shooting anybody. But if I walk into a Walmart and see this guy coming in strapped to the hilt with armor, AR, AK, whatever it was, guess what? I'm pulling my gun and I'm going to confront him. You know, dude, you're lucky you didn't get dropped. Period.
Yep, he's very, very lucky.
Because in a fight, in a fight, okay, let's just be honest about this. If you're in a gunfight, let me say how to say this. If you are on even ground, your tactics suck. When you're in a gunfight, you shoot a motherfucker in the back, in the ass, you catch him blindsided. There is no such thing as a fair gunfight. If I think you want to kill me, I'm going to shoot you no matter what position I can, no matter what point of view I am. If I think you're going to kill me or somebody I love, my loved ones, I'm not giving you a fair fucking chance. I'm going to drop you at the first fucking chance I get. It doesn't matter if I'm behind you or not. Don't matter. I'm going to drop your ass if I get a chance. Period.
Well, they go with you're absolutely right, TR. Out here, growing up, hunting, dealing with trespassers. You don't walk up to them straight on. My dad did once, and the guy stuck the shotgun in his gut. Okay. Well, no, you come up from the side, behind a tree, you get the drop on them, and if they need to put the gun down on the ground, period. And you just let them know, seriously, you are not playing around.
I think
Absolutely phenomenal comment there, Prescott.
Yep, I think he says it all right there. He doesn't like his generation either.
Hey, Preston, you need to watch your language here because we got young people in the side chat. I gotta pick on Preston. I love the guy. He's an outstanding teen, young man.
But getting back to what I was saying, I hope I wasn't off base with that. But do you guys kind of agree with me? If you think you're about to be in a gunfight or you're going to be in a fight, is there a such thing as a fair fight?
To me, there's no ethical way of having to pull a gun and shoot someone. If I gotta defend myself, I gotta defend myself. Period. I'm right there with you, man. If you get hit in the ass, you get hit in the ass. I'm gonna pull my gun and do what I gotta do. End of the day, it's about protecting myself, protecting others around me. So.
Well, that's the way I look at it. I mean, say me and Sonya's my girlfriend, for anybody that don't know out there. If we walked into a Walmart and I seen a guy with the AR-15 strapped on him, and I thought if I thought he was a presumptive threat, which in South Carolina we don't have open carry, so I would obviously think he's a threat, especially after 2 shootings. I'm thinking a copycat guy. You know what? I'm not going to say freeze. I'm not going to say stop. I'm just going to drop your ass. I'm sorry. I'm not going to give you a chance to shoot me, period.
Well, and Josh Benoit also had a good comment out there. If you're fighting fair, you're not fighting. I'm going to take every advantage I possibly can. If I'm fighting for my life, loved ones' lives, people that I don't even freaking know standing next to me, if I'm fighting for somebody's life, I'm going to take advantage of every single opportunity I possibly can.
Coda Boy said something in a chat a couple weeks ago, and I told him that would be excellent for a T-shirt, and it's this topic right here. It ain't fair, but I don't care. I mean, put that black gun right on there on the T-shirt. Put it on.
Yeah.
I'm 51 years old. I'm too old to run. I'm too old to fucking fist fight with you. I'm going to put a bullet in your head, period. That's just where I'm at. Okay? I look trim and fit, but I can't run for so long. I would rather just end this right now, and that was my cat. Making all that noise.
Age and treachery.
Chico got a good point. Put his comment up there. He says the only fair fight is if you're hearing a bell, and I would go one step farther than that. If you the only fair fight is if when you're getting paid and you hear a bell ring. That's when you need to fight fair. All right, I got a question for you guys, and maybe some guys in the side chat as well. Do you think, as a concealed weapons carrier, you have an obligation to protect strangers, people you don't know, people that are just happen to be in a bad place at a bad time?
I take that responsibility. I don't think that it's a requirement. I honestly do not think it's a requirement. You could be looking at a situation and honestly be looking at it completely wrong. and not understanding what's happening in that situation, and you introducing your firearm into it could be instigating an actual problem when there isn't an actual problem. But me personally, I do feel and believe that I would protect the people around me that I don't even know.
There's a lot of what ifs. What if that guy shooting is an undercover police officer? You must first assess the situation. Then, like TR was saying there, you don't fight fair, you get the drop on them where you can better assess. And if you assess that it's an active shooter, and I don't care, you put 2 in the back of their head.
Yeah, I think it's situation awareness and situation driven. I mean, I couldn't say every situation. I'm not going to go running through a store looking for the shooter. But at the same time, if he's within 10 feet of me, yes, I'm going to engage. Not just for the lives around me, but for my own life. Yeah, I might could duck and cover. But if he's that close and I know what the hell is going on, yes, I may react to it with deadly force. But it's going to depend on the situation. Like I said, I'm not going to run 100 feet through a Walmart or a J.C. Penney or a Sears or whatever the hell it is. I'm not going to go run looking for a fight. But if the fight is brought to me, yes, I will react.
Yeah, that was a great question, Jamie. I agree with everyone. You know, I don't think we're obligated, but depending on the situation, you know, it's a damn good possibility for sure.
Like Jamie, see, I mean, but that's a situation where you don't know everybody. Like I'm on a church security team where I pretty much know everybody and can figure out who's new coming in. And if something does happen, who am I going to trust? I'm going to trust the people I see all the time. And that person that I haven't seen before comes up and pulls out a gun. Well, then the decision is made pretty much automatic.
Well, even in let's just say a convenience store, you know, you stop to get a soda or whatever. I can't say that because I've been in this situation actually a couple of times where they've been robbed twice, which is times too many. And I had to, you know, check myself. And it's like, okay, they're not hurting anybody. They're not trying to kill anybody. They just wanted to grab this chainsaw or whatever it was and run out the door. I actually had to think about it. I mean, it was a thought process as, do I stop this guy? And then it hit me. It's like, well, no, they're not threatening anybody's lives. I'm not getting involved. But if I'm in a convenience store and a guy pulls a gun out and he actually shoots somebody, fuck it. All rules are gone. I am dropping your ass. I am, if I have any ability within me, if you shoot somebody and I know this is an innocent person being shot by this guy here or girl, whatever, if I have the ability, I'm going to take you out, period.
Well, all of us have seen that video of the older gentleman. His wife was also in the internet cafe. And basically, I don't know if they even have these anymore, but it was a coffee shop, internet cafe, and a couple of guys come in with guns. They're trying to rob the joint, everything else. He comes from the back of the internet cafe popping rounds. And he did strike the assailants and stop the robbery in the progress. They were wielding a shotgun and a baseball bat. Obviously, they have potential to inflict major damage, if not death, on somebody, and so he took it upon himself to protect everybody in that shop. I'd be the same way. I'm sitting in the back of a store, and somebody comes in with a shotgun, robbing the place. You better bet I'm firing rounds their way.
you also got to watch out what state you're in and the state laws. Say you're in California. You go charge and go running to the sound of the guns, you can get charged with a crime because you have you got to flee. You got to watch these state laws.
Yeah, you definitely have to know your state laws. Luckily for me in South Carolina, we have really good stand your ground laws. It doesn't matter if I'm on the sidewalk or in my yard. There's no difference. In my house, in my driveway, in the street at the nearest city, Travelers Rest, I do not have the duty to retreat. I can stand my ground. But that's not true for every state. And you need to know your laws, period.
I had to get educated by the Scotsman. How is it in Ohio?
Well, that's it. If you like I hear until they change it, we have to. If we have a way to get out of that situation without drawing our firearm, we have to get out of that situation, which sucks.
So, like the whole Walmart thing, do we have to get out, or can we protect the innocent?
See, and again, that's going to come down to depend on the situation. If there's a direct threat and you're able to stop that threat, if you have a way out, technically by state law, you have to get out. Now,
Yeah, you need to move to South Carolina.
you know,
Well, then you got then you got civil court after that if they do find you innocent.
yeah, there's a lot that goes in with that. So you got to be real careful and really study your laws and know what your laws are for sure.
Well, when it comes to civil suits, what you need to do is you need to send an email to Hillary saying that this guy has, information about you, and he'll be suicided.
Oh. Oh, I don't think we discussed that situation live tonight, have we?
I had to throw it in there. I knew you'd get it, Daniel.
That's a conspiracy against anybody that might have something on it.
We have
the civil lawsuits and situations like that. That right there is one of the numerous reasons why I carry concealed carry insurance. That's part of why I'm signed up with the USCCA.
There is something to be said for that. Yeah, I've been looking at that myself.
Josh had a good comment. Josh Benware said, "You don't really know what you'll do until you're faced with the situation." But I'm like everybody else here. I think we need to protect innocent people if we can. We definitely need to try to do so without having to draw and discharge our firearm. But I think we got to take care of ourselves and our family first and foremost, and then worry about other people in the situation. But TR, the situation you proposed was the one that was on my mind. Like, you're in a convenience store and you're standing in line, and some idiot comes in and robs the place, and he's got a gun held on the guy that's working the register. Do you pull your gun and try to apprehend that guy? That's not my job. I'm not a policeman. Until he starts turning around and threatening other innocent people. At the point he discharges his firearm or points his firearm at somebody else, I think that's when you got to try to think about taking some kind of action. But that's
I was even in a Tractor Supply, and some people, I won't say they robbed the place, but they filled the buggy up with some high dollar DeWalt tools. I don't even remember what they was anyway, and ran out the door. And I mean, literally the thought process went through my mind. Should I go hold these guys, like do a citizen's arrest or whatever? And it was like, no, they didn't really threaten anybody. The company has insurance. All these thoughts went through my mind. And I mean, I had a conflict with myself. I felt bad that I let them get away because I could have stepped in. but at the same time, they wasn't threatening anybody's life. If it's just over a few dollars, I'm not going to, trust me, as big a gun guy as I am, I'm not going to kill anybody over a couple of dollars. But if they start threatening other lives, or they do take a life or shoot somebody, potentially taking their life, yes, I'm going to step in and I'm going to act, because you stepped over the line. All right, it's on. Yeah, that's kind of the way I look at it.
Yeah, and Jamie made a good point too. You don't always have to use your firearm. You may be able to take that situation down a different way. You might not have to draw your weapon. You know, there's other ways of combating that. So depending on the situation is going to be the key there. But you know.
Yeah, really presented with a situation where I'm just seeing, you know, I'll use your example, TR. Somebody's just like loading a bunch of tools up into a cart, and they're getting ready to bust nut out the store. I'm going to get as much information as I can, but I'm not going to defend that. I mean, that company has got insurance. That's why they carry that insurance. I'm gonna take note of what everybody's wearing, what they look like, their height. You know, if I can get information on their vehicle, I'll get the information on their vehicle. But I'm not going to intervene unless they are actually threatening, especially with deadly force.
Yeah. Because, I mean, you don't want to be in that situation that happened down in Florida, where that guy was out there trying to play police officer, and because he had to stand your ground. I mean, in my opinion, that guy was totally in the wrong. I mean, TR and I, we had words back and forth on this before. I mean, in my opinion, the guy was trying to be a policeman, and he's the one that instigated the whole situation first, because a woman came up and parked in a handicap spot, and the fiance came out of the store because there was some guy accosting his girlfriend, and he chest bumped him or knocked him down or whatever, and the guy just pulled a gun out and shot him. I mean, de-escalate.
No, I agree, Daniel. The power that we wield as a individual, you know, I carry this every day right now. It's Smith & Wesson Shield. I could end a life every day I walk outside my house. And you have to take that into account, the power that you have, and you have to check yourself. You have to understand the power that you wield with that. And actually, what we should appreciate is our ability to step back and assess a situation, and does this deserve this? And all there's a lot. I mean, I don't want to make it belittle it, but there's a lot of power that comes with strapping a gun on and walking outside. We have to have more restraint and more willpower and more knowledge of the situation that we may face than the average Joe out there. Because the average Joe's not carrying a gun, but we are. You know, I mean, when we decide to use it, there's a lot of thought process went into that. I mean, to me, I got to be pushed into a corner before I use it. I hadn't used it yet, but if it ever comes to that point where I do, trust me, I was pushed into a corner and I didn't see any other way out.
Yeah, and that's exactly it. I've been in some tough situations over the years. Last year I had a couple where I came close to having to draw my firearm, but I took restraint and I had to sit there to assess the situation and say, you know what, can I deal with this a different way where I don't have to do this? And I was able to, but you got to be able to make that decision. And it's a huge responsibility strapping on a firearm and walking out the door with it. huge responsibility. So you got to be able to have that kind of mindset of, what do I need to do? What can I do so I don't have to do this? None of us want to have to use it, but if we have to, we will.
I mean, I've been in a situation twice, and the first thing I did when I realized the situation I was in, I prayed to God to de-escalate the situation, and thank God it got de-escalated, because I could have legally shot both times. I mean, one was a fiance, my roommate, he was going to kill. I mean, one was my roommate, he was going to kill his fiance, and he was up high on drugs and everything. And the other one was down in a dark alley with some gangbangers. I mean, young kids.
Yeah, I've been pushed to the point myself, but luckily it didn't get to the point of actually pulling a trigger. You know, I mean, I'm not going to get too much detail with it, but I did actually pull a gun on a guy, and but I didn't pull the trigger. I didn't pull the trigger. The cops got called, and the cops actually ended up laughing at the guy that called them and told him, "You're a lucky man he didn't shoot you." But, you know, once it de-escalated, I realized it had de-escalated, and I put the gun away. But I mean, I was like that freaking close to pulling the trigger, you know. And then once the cops got involved, and the cops actually told him, the guy that I had a problem with, they're like, "You're lucky you're still alive, because he could have shot you." But he didn't. You know, I mean, there's you holy shit, the responsibility of carrying a gun and having that much power in your hands. I don't think a lot of people that don't carry guns realize the power that you have to take somebody's life, and what it takes to really restrain yourself and to reassess situations in a different way than you normally would. Because you think about things in a different way. Because I don't want to take a life. Hell, I was in the military. I've been in the fucking war. I didn't want to take a life when I was in the fucking war. I don't want to take somebody's life away from them, period. And I'm going to do everything I can not to take somebody's life.
Yeah, it's, some people might laugh, but when I first started carrying, I didn't have it loaded because I had to get used to the fact that I had a firearm on me, and that responsibility of walking out the door with it on me. And you know, at the time when I first started carrying, I didn't feel comfortable, you know, because it was I was just getting into that, you know, and so I didn't have any ammunition. I was just, you know, I had ammunition in my pocket, so if I did need it, it was there, but I didn't have it in the firearm because I wanted to get comfortable having it on my person, getting used to having that responsibility of having it on me.
Was that physical or mentally, as far as being self-conscious?
Probably both, you know, back home you know, there's no firearms. They were banned many years ago, thanks to a school shooting that was complete setup, and that was the key for the government to come in and take all the firearms away. That's basically what happened back home. And you know, so when I grew up, we didn't have firearms other than on the farm. So you could have one on the farm and stuff like that, but it was very rare to see them. You know, knives are regulated heavily as well back home. So it's just something that's not, you don't see a whole lot of. So when I got here, you know, and I've always had a passion for firearms, but it's grown over the years. And so when I got here and it was, you know, I think I want to start carrying, it was a tough thing to do because you know, I'd never done it. I'd never had to experience anything like that. And it is such a huge responsibility. So I wanted to walk down that road the right way. And for me, that was kind of the right path was, you know, I got to get comfortable having it on me first, find where I want to carry, where I can draw comfortable and stuff like that. And then I went to a fully loaded firearm and never looked back. But you gotta get your mindset in that right direction, because again, I don't want to have to use it unless I really, really have to. If I can diffuse that situation another way, that's the route I'm going first.
I was very self-conscious. That was me the first probably 6 months of carrying, just self-conscious that I am carrying.
And you'll see a lot of people too, like first time concealed carriers and stuff. You'll see them if you like, and this is no joke. If you walk in a Walmart and you see a first time concealed carrier, a lot of times they're going like this. They're pulling their shirt over. And I'm using Walmart as an example because there's a lot of people in Walmart you'll see all the time. They'll be lifting their shirt and kind of pulling their shirt back down. And they'll do it a lot because they're self-conscious that it's there and they don't want people to see it.
That and using a ladder to get stuff off the top shelf, be tugging the shirt down, trying to reach up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but when you very first begin carrying a firearm, it's good that you're very, very conscious of it. Now, manhandling it, touching it, that's another story altogether. But being very conscious of it, being conscious of your movements, the possibilities of how it's getting unconcealed, it's good. It's good to know, okay, if I move like this, obviously my shirt's going to pull up over the weapon. And so you learn those things over a little bit of time, and what works for your body type, what doesn't. But it's a process. A lot of people started off without carrying one in the chamber. There's a gal that I work with that just recently got a concealed weapons permit. Just recently. She's not comfortable enough yet to actually even carry in public. But she's like, just to get more comfortable with having it in my belt line, I carry around the house. I'm like, okay, do you carry it loaded? She's like, I carry it with the magazine loaded, but I don't carry with one in the chamber. Said, okay, here's the thing. Go ahead and cock the weapon. Then put your magazine in it. Carry it all day long. At the end of the day, take that magazine out and see if that weapon's still cocked. Then you'll know the trigger was never pulled all day long. And she did this for about 2 weeks. She now carries with one in the chamber.
That, and if when you get a new gun, before you go carry it, take it out and practice with it, train with it. Because if you go from a revolver to a semi-auto, or just from one semi-auto to another, the setups are different. I mean, you got muscle memory to deal with.
Yeah, it takes a while for, and especially new shooters. My first concealed carry weapon was a 1911, and I carried it cocked and locked. But I grew up with firearms. I grew up shooting 1911s. I was comfortable with it. I knew it could not go off unless I intended it to go off. I had to click the safety off. I had to have my grip on it. I had to pull the trigger. But my first carry gun was a 1911. I mean, that's what I carried. Cocked and locked. Ready to rock and roll. But, it comes from experience. And like I said, I mean, I grew up with them. My dad was a big 1911 guy. So I was used to it,
Well, with all these comments there, Alan, are you cocked and locked, one in the chamber?
Always one in the chamber, always full magazine, and always one in the chamber, always. Yeah, I don't.
Yeah, and I was going to say, I was going to bring it up.
I don't buy I'm going to be able to put my seatbelt on as I'm getting into a car wreck idea. And that's what I equate it to.
Well, it
And
kind of
yeah,
goes
it's going
in
to
a
take you
different
less
situation.
time to pull a slide than it is to put a seatbelt on, but that's what I equate it to.
It depends on the situation. There's people like John Solar who has, a special needs kid. And then I think, Jamie, you're the same way. I don't think you keep one in the pipe either because you got grandkids around. It's all about the situation, but it's all about how you train too. So if you train that way and hey, I got, such and such around, but you already train that way, so you train all the time to rack and be ready to roll, that's a whole different situation, but it's all about your training.
And I will say that in my situation, it's just my concealed carry. If I got stuff put up and locked up, then I got a magazine right there handy. I don't store a loaded gun. That's a little bit ignorant, but I used to be a chaplain in Christian Motorcyclist Association, and I went to a couple of funerals of 2 and 3 year old kids where they found daddy's pistol. And that will not happen to my grandkids as long as I got a breath in my body. And if that costs me my life, so be it. My grandkids are what it's all about. So I don't care. I don't. I know what tomorrow holds for me. I'm not concerned about that in the least. My thing is protecting the life of my grandkids. And as Scotsman was saying, your training, you just learn to draw it out of the holster in the act of racking the slide, and you're fine.
It's kind of like the 12 gauge in the dark, racking one in. That's the number one thing. It's de-escalated a lot of burglars getting shot because they were already running the other way.
Yeah, there's something about the sound of racking a pump shotgun. You generally don't have to fire at an intruder when that sound goes.
See, though, that very much depends upon the intruder. You get some whacked out meth head, it's not going to matter.
That individual wants to die anyway.
Well, I live alone, so if something goes bumping tonight, I'm just going to unload on them because nobody has a key to my house. I live alone. If it's my cat, he's going to be at ground level, and whatever I'm shooting at is going to be above that.
Oh, let me look this up because she just brought something that reminded me, about the middle of the night and it's dark 30. RTT Guns and Gears came out with this thing on red flag laws, and that is one of the best videos I have ever seen about red flag laws. And if somebody comes in at 2:00 in the morning you got to see that. I mean, we've been discussing red flag laws and everything, but the video he put out is like the best video on the argument on why not to have red flag laws. And the sad thing is that's already happened.
Yeah, there's some bad red flag laws out there, no doubt. Anyway, I just want to show off my gun. This is my first concealed carry. A Colt. What is this? CCO. Of course, it's not in production anymore, but a officer's frame, aluminum with a commander length barrel, 4 1/4. I carried this thing for years. Cocked and locked, just like it is now, loaded. That's the way it's in my safe. If you see any gun in my house, just go ahead and figure it's loaded. So don't pull the fucking trigger, okay? I don't have any kids. Like I said, I live alone. I have no kids, so I'm a little bit different in that situation.
Well, I keep mine in. It's either on me are locked up in my car, and I have one that I keep close to the bed that I keep very handy, very quick to access, and it has a magazine that holds 17 rounds of 9mm, but I don't keep one in the chamber for that particular reason, because a 4-year-old kid can't rack a slide, but they can pull a trigger. And
Alan, I'm sorry to interrupt. I put the link in our internal chat.
All righty.
yeah, I do not advocate, or would I ever leave my a loaded weapon where a kid could get a hold of it. We got better sense than that. And I don't store a loaded gun, but I do keep a couple handy. And speaking of which, are we going to do a gun check? Y'all guys got to have something pretty handy.
Shoot, you want long gun? Long gun, pistol? What do you want?
I know, I feel you, brother, but I do want to bring up that talk about Warsaw's link right there. He's wanting us to make some VRs to help unite America. So he's got a video out, and I'd like to ask y'all to go and check out his VR, his video, make some VRs, and see if we can do something about this polarization that seems to be captivating our nation. And so since TR went ahead and did his thing, how about that?
There you go. I love a wheel gun, man. I'm a wheel gun fan. As much as I have semi-autos, I love a wheel gun.
This is the Smith & Wesson 586 357 Magnum and 6-inch.
Yep. And
I also have you was talking about long guns. I just happen to have right here my Seiko. This is a model AV. It's chambered in 270 Winchester. Scotsman shot this up at dead zero, I believe.
That was a nice one.
I like this. I got to get a little bit better scope for it, but this is what I'm working up rounds to shoot 1,000 yards with next time we get to go.
Yeah, I just got the Model 60 sitting by me right now. So
Yeah.
still running like a champ. That sight's still working really good. That Tool Monkey was nice enough to help me out with the pins for. So that thing still runs like a champ. Looks good. No issues.
Just in the belt line, the LC9S Pro. She is running like a champ. I figured out that it was just filthier than snot. Basically, long story short. So she's running like a champ.
And yes, I've got my good old PO1, the CZ, and I'm wearing my skinny joint jeans. And I just got, before I just walked in off the range here with my wife. She was out there shooting her new gun.
Were you out there playing bass guitar? Or?
I was catching brass. I was on the side, just, it's like as she's shooting and telling her, okay, you got to loosen up the elbow a little bit, just getting her tuned in with the gun. Because I got a bunch of brand new brass, and I want to save that.
I got another one. I got to step right over here and pick it up. Warsaw, I think, is wanting to see something else I happen to have close by. So just a minute.
Hey, Alan, how far is the farthest you ever seen a rifle eject brass? And have you ever seen the brass going in the same direction as the bullet?
I haven't seen brass going completely at 12 o'clock.
Not completely.
But I've seen it eject about 130 and ejected out 8-10 feet.
Oh, but 810 feet's nothing. Not mentioning any names. You want to tell them about your sweet gun you got running.
Yeah, you've seen it before. I did a video on it before, but the FA91, that thing's 30, 40 feet easy.
No fucking way.
Yes.
Oh yeah,
was-
yeah. It's actually since I had the work done on it, and it's actually up and running now. I got it back from the gunsmith, and I took it down to Daniels to try it out, and make sure it was running. But it's actually further than it was when I first originally got it. When I first originally got it, it was probably about 25, 30 feet. I think it almost went 40 feet at one point at Daniels.
We were about one car length away from my garage door, and when the driveway curves down the hill, that's where it was putting the brass.
Goodness gracious.
All right, let me get a little chubby out of Millsthorpe, Mike, and Warsaw out there. Here's one for you. Actually it's not loaded. One of the few guns in my house that's not loaded, but here's a Swedish Mauser made in 1917. There you go. Look at that. I have the gunsmith stampings on it. It's got a good bore. Awesome. Just for you guys out there.
And I got my K98 right here.
There you go.
This is the Taco Mauser. Her new name is Maria, and she shoots the 8mm Mauser round, which I happen to have some right there, but I'm not going to stick them in here. But got the this thing here that helps you take the bolt apart for cleaning, maintenance, whatever. Got the numbers here, and this is a Hugo Mauser. I thought it was a M48, but Warsaw has informed me that this is a captured German K98 at the Yugoslavs had taken away and taken all the German markings off of it and put the Yugo crest on. I don't know if I can get it up there where you can see the Yugo crest, but yeah. It says Model 98 right there, and I don't know if you can see it or not, but yeah. Can we see the screen camera's backwards right there? It says 98 right there. And it also has a lot of other words that I can't read or pronounce. So there.
Yeah, I got a couple 8mm myself. I don't think mine are German. I'm not sure what they are. I know one of them is Turkish, and the other one I really don't know. But I have two 8mm as well. And man, those Mausers are some fine weapons. That's all I can say.
They really are. And one of the things I love about that Seiko is its Mauser action. And a lot of modern bolt action hunting rifles nowadays are basically a Mauser action. But yeah, I did a lot of work on this stock. It was never finished. It had a little fuzz from the milling on it, and so we got it slick as a baby's butt now. I'm proud of this, as you can tell. But thanks for letting me show it.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
People think this might be a gun channel or something.
You would never think that.
Might hurt somebody's feelings.
What are those? All right. With that being said, it is kind of getting that time. I got to head to work here shortly. So we'll start going through the room. Jamie, we'll start with you.
I just wanted to tell everybody about Warsaw's thing. Y'all go check him out. Let's just try to see if we can find some common ground with these snowflakes and anti-2A people and invite them to the range. Kill them with love and kindness. Don't be confrontational with them. You can catch a whole lot more flies with honey than you can with perspiration and nastiness. But I got some more videos coming up, and y'all can check us out Friday nights on the Georgia Shooting Connection on my channel at 8 o'clock. And thanks for having me. And you guys, thank you for putting up with me. And everybody in the side chat, thanks for coming by and checking us out. It's been fun.
Always good to have you, brother. Always good seeing you.
Thank you.
Daniel.
Oh, hi. Hey, Scotsman, Alan, thanks for having me on again. And I just hope I'm not boring too many people out there. And guys in the side chat, it's been interesting when I could see it. You guys have been keeping me pretty much entertained. I love it. Thank you.
Absolutely, man. Yeah, the side chat's been blowing up. It's been moving pretty fast. So, always good to see. TR.
Oh, just thanks for having me on. I enjoyed it, man. I think we had some good conversation, and I really appreciate it. I enjoyed having a conversation with other intelligent individuals that we can bounce ideas off each other. And this YouTube is a great platform for that. And I'm kind of pissed that they've made it harder to do that, but we found ways to still continue that. And thanks for having me on, man.
Absolutely. Always good to have you, brother. Good to see you. It's been a while for sure. But absolutely always appreciate you, man. With that being said, Alan, what you got, brother?
Oh man, thank you everybody for showing up tonight. I've had a great time. It's been an absolute pleasure to have everybody in the room. It's a lot going on in our country right now. A lot going on. There's a lot going on for a few particular individuals. And one of them is Jack. Jack still needs our help. If you don't know what I'm talking about, then you gotta visit the Scotsman's channel. Still got some uppers that are being given away for the effort of Jack. There's also another effort going on that is a GoFundMe effort that I personally can't get into because it'll end up making me bawl. There's also another guy out there, Night Strike One, that's been doing trying to create the next YouTube for gun people. It's called guntube.org. He's trying to raise some funds to get some servers and make a lot of things happen over there. So if you don't know about guntube.org, check that out as well. And as always, keep the magazines loaded and one in the chamber.
All right, absolutely awesome. Good to see everyone out there. Glad we don't make it happen this week. So always good seeing everyone. Appreciate everyone out there. With that being said, stay safe, stay vigilant, and we'll catch you in the next one, guys.